I actually do remember being a part of the Gateway experiment. I was attending Bernard School in New Haven, Connecticut, Bernard Elementary School. And I remember in kindergarten, I remember being pulled out of my regular class. The people that came and got me, if I could remember, they weren't teachers. They didn't even work at the school. They were just people who I've never seen before. They had on these white jackets, they almost looked like doctor jackets. I remember they held my hand, and I remember them walking me to the school basement. The school basement was very dark. Not too much dark where you couldn't see, but it was kind of just bland, it was kind of dull, dark. And they had on these white jackets, and I remember a briefcase. They had a brown briefcase. One of them had a black one. And I remember the guy telling me, we pulled you out of class because we want to do a hearing test. I thought my parents knew about it. I thought my parents signed some consent form, but apparently they didn't. So long story short, they were just well, you're here for a hearing test. And I was like, okay. So I remember these headphones. These headphones were a square shaped headphones, and it had the double straps above your head, and it was brown. It was a tan brown color headphones. And attached to the headphone was a radio box that was also brown. And I remember them putting the headphones on me, and I remember hearing a guy's voice. It was very relaxing. It was very mellow. And I also remember hearing static. It kind of made my ears hurt, but it was a static vibration type sounds. It was something to do with frequency. It had something to do with that. I remember they put some cards in front of me. These cards had different shapes, different patterns, different different color shapes and stuff. I overheard my homeroom teacher talking to the people that did the hearing test for me. She was talking to these people, and she was no, we're gonna just keep her back a grade. They were trying to keep me back. They didn't want me to go on to the next grade. So eventually my parents ended up finding out, and they were very upset because they were just well, we never signed a consent form for you guys to even do this hearing test on my daughter. So my parents were very upset. They came down to the school. It was just a whole thing. So I remember my mom on the phone. I remember my mom being on the phone with the pastor, and my mom was basically saying no, we need to put some prayer in. They're trying to keep my child back a grade. And I remember the pastor on the phone was basically no, the devil is a liar. They're not going to keep your child back. I plead the